the hell do satellites come from? What are they putting up there in the sky without it telling us?
What the hell is out there beyond the sky?
Who the hell said the weather is? How do you get the pictures down from a satellite? I don't know any of those things, but today we're gonna try and steal radio signals from space. Hi, I'm Eric. I'm an idiot, and I got no idea what I'm talking about. This is probably science. Our target for this heist is the GOES Geostationary Operational Environmental Satellite. Somebody, a long time ago, put this up in the sky, and I want to know what it's looking at. The environmental part of the GOES acronym is the one we're worried about. Its job is to take pictures of the clouds. I mean, it does infrared and like all this other stuff, but it's really about the clouds. Launched by NASA, the GOES project has involved several different satellites over the years. There was 15, 16, and now 18 and 19. The one we're interested in is GOES 19. Now the GOES satellite is something like 35,000 kilometers that way. And that matters because the signal that we're going to be picking up from it is incredibly weak. That means it's imperative that every step of our processing chain is perfect. There is no room for error in this project. Things like bad cabling, bad software, poor alignment, all can drop a signal. And with a dropped signal, we get no pictures. Here's the plan. The GOES satellite emits a signal we could pick up with an antenna. Once we've got that signal in the antenna, we'll send it to our RTL SDR and off to the computer for post-processing. Now our signal needs to be preserved across every step of the pipeline, so plan A is to have the computer in the basement do the processing with the signal coming in outside on the deck. Now we can't just run a USB cable all the way because that signal is going to get all garbled and messy, and we can't run the coax cable all the way down here because the signal will get all garbled and messy. So we've got two Ethernet USB converter dongles, one plugged into the SDR, the other plugged into the computer. We'll process with sat dump. What's up, bud? So let's talk about software. There's tons of options out there. GOES tools, sat dump, Skyroot. Now the problem with a lot of this software is their mainstream versions are pretty out of date, which means we're gonna have to compile ourselves some of the stuff that's been put together by friends in the community. The first tool in our arsenal is going to be Skyroot. Basically, it's just some software that tells us where satellites are relative to where we are. You're going to need to know what your grid coordinates are. Just Google it, you'll be fine. Then you'll get this cool UI, and it yells cool stuff at you.
Satellite AO123 is rising now.
Next thing you'll need is something called sat dump. Sat dump will actually process all the data coming out the other side of the SDR. It's a little out of date, so good luck finding a build that works for you. You may have to compile it by hand. This one was a bit of a pain in the butt, but there's a lot of great guides out there. My audio got absolutely fried here. Also, I way overcomplicated things. Anyway, here's the short version. The antenna picks up the HRIT signal from GOES, then passes that signal through the Sawbird low noise amplifier. I truly have no idea what that device does. All I know is it makes everything work. The low noise amplifier, or LNA, passes the signal to an RTL SDR. RTL refers to the chip inside the device that makes it work. Apparently only Realtek makes them. SDR stands for Software Defined Radio. As far as I can figure, SDR is a deep rabbit hole. This one is from Nooelec and is tuned specifically to the 1694.1 MHz signal that we need. We just need to plug the SDR into a computer to demodulate and decode the data stream. So our antenna is going to be up on the roof, but I want to be able to plug in stuff to it and change the equipment that's in there as necessary. So I want the equipment down here at ground level. Thankfully, our previous internet service provider left this box on our wall with cables going to nowhere. So nice of them. Now the labels on it say, "Don't touch it." Of course, I'm not going to remove them. Great news! I got a new box on the wall. We'll use this as a junction box for all our sensitive bits, and then we'll run a coax line up to the antenna. Now we have to get on the roof. Okay, well this isn't gonna work. Of the live stuff. This ladder. I'm not scared, you're scared. Just trying to do this as safely as possible, okay? Well, Well, I've made a tremendous error. These U-brackets don't fit on the pole that I wanted to put them on. I could have checked that on the ground, but instead we're up here. So now we get to go to Home Depot. Stupid fucking Home Depot. I hate Home Depot. We haven't even gotten to the hard part yet. We're back from Home Depot. I put on pants for this part because I don't feel like being up here in shorts. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone. Okay, you need to go through there. It's not gonna go on there. Fuck. I should have done this on the ground. Why am I an idiot? Thank you, God. It's gonna be a real fucking problem. That ain't going fucking nowhere. I hate that I have to go back to the store for something so fucking stupid. Okay, it's not load bearing, but like, close enough, you know? And then we just do that, you know? There it is, we made an antenna, yay. I don't ever want to go on that roof again. Oh, Jesus. It's so hot up there. How do people build roofs? Dude, let's take a moment for all the roofers out there, because goddamn, we do have to go on the roof again though, so that sucks. Okay, so now we've got to get data all the way from the roof down to this computer here. I have good news. First is that the dish is assembled and installed. Our equipment fits in the box and goes where it's supposed to. We've run a cable all the way down to the actual workstation that we hope will do the actual processing eventually, and confirmed that that pipeline right there kind of works. Couple of things. Number one, the dish hasn't been aimed yet. We know that the pipeline kind of works. It was really spotty, but I hope that that will change. So, next, for aiming, we are going to plug everything in line, and we're going to do everything up on the roof all in one go. Before we do anything, head to dishpointer.com and grab your azimuth and elevation to aim the dish. That's 172? Shit. Ugh. I thought 172 was like that way. Damn it. Ugh. Today's the worst. Plan A sucked. The Cat 6 USB Franken cable was spotty at best, which means we can't really use sat dump because I can't get it down to my workstation. And of course, I pointed the dish in the complete wrong direction. Never mind, day 4's canceled. Everything's bad. Unfortunately, I don't think that we'll be working on the dish at all. Poor bastard. Today was supposed to be it. The dish is up. Everything's wired. All we had to do was get it aimed and watch the data roll in. But no. Instead, we're here solving problems. And it's raining. At least that gives us time to think. So the first problem. I installed the antenna pointing the wrong way. I installed it pointing in the opposite direction of the satellite that we want. Also, it's mounted to a pole that doesn't move. And here's the kicker. Even if I could point it at the satellite, from where it's sitting, the view of the satellite is completely obstructed by a tree. And that's not going to work. Idiot. The next issue is the actual processing of the data that we get from the antenna. Now, the LNA and the SDR have to be as close to the dish as possible to preserve the signal, but my computer's here in the basement, so I need to be able to get the data stream from the roof to the junction to the basement. You know, here's the real problem. This is the root of our problem. We're trying to get a raw, live, very fragile USB signal from outside to this computer through 100 feet of network cable and 2 shitty USB dongles I found on Amazon. And it sort of works for like 8 seconds at a time, which is just a tease. So what's the fix? I need the data processing to happen on the deck at the junction box. If I could get the data stream decoded outside, I can send files over NFS, send the files to the NAS, and then the network cable can do what it's actually supposed to do and just network stuff. Ooh. What if I take this Optiplex out on the deck to run all the software on the deck? Okay, fuck that. That's not gonna work. Now what? I have a Raspberry Pi. I know I left that thing around here somewhere. It's not in there. This would be a really dumb place for it to be. You can tell I've already been rooting around in here today. Donde está my shit? If I was a Raspberry Pi and I didn't want to be found, what if I was really clever and I put it in there? Okay, I'm not that clever. So, we did it. Should we add any cool lights to this thing? I've got these really cool LCD displays that I haven't used for anything. Wait, pause. That would have been really handy a little while ago. I wish I knew where stuff was more often. So I forgot to film a lot of the actual Raspberry Pi setup, but I wanted to demo some of it here. Go check out usradioguide.com. That's the guide that I used for this. If you've never set up a Raspberry Pi before, it's not terrible, especially if you have Linux experience. If you don't, well, that's a different video. After all the fuss about different software to use for this project, just use GhostTools. SatDump was really buggy in my experience, and since we're processing everything on the Pi, GhostTools is really our only option. Now there's a ton of dependencies that you'll need. Aside from the CMake libraries and Git, the important one is the RTL SDR library. This is what allows the Pi to talk to the SDR device. Make sure that this is working before you do anything else. Ask me how I know. To install GhostTools, you'll have to compile it yourself. Don't be scared, you can do it. Basically just copy and paste from the guide. The most important thing with the GhostTools is that you have to write the config files manually. It's a bit spooky, but US Radio Guy has some pre-packaged ones that you can copy. If you're having issues with anything, check your configs first and ensure that your runtime commands have the correct flags and point to the right directories. I don't even know where to start. Oh my god. This whole thing's been a disaster. Here we are, day 5. This is a problem. So to be our new signal receiver, instead of trying to send it all the way down to my workstation, we're going to have a Raspberry Pi do the processing. We'll have our Pi catch the signal first. Our Pi is going to be running GhostTools, and it's going to create a live feed, and that live feed is going to get picked up by our server. The server is going to be running an LXC Linux container running GhostTools, and it's going to be a client to the live feed. So now, instead of our original plan of just running a really long Ethernet cable down to my computer, we're going to have 2 computers doing the work for us. GhostTools is designed really handily so that you can have one creating a live feed and another picking up that live feed. Fun fact, I learned that today. That's the gambit. That's our process. Now here's the fun part, is this process is significantly more work than the original plan. But the good news is, I kind of know what I'm doing sometimes. So, step 1, we have to re-aim the satellite. Step 2, we've got to set up the Raspberry Pi. Step 3, we've got to set up a Linux container. And step 4, we got to figure out what the hell else comes from that. And for the hardware, I'm going to get some things tweaked, and we're going to get it mounted on this tripod. Does that just go in? Yeah, I'm actually a genius. Okay. Money. We have our dish set up. We've got the angle set. Next up, we'll bring it up to the roof, get the azimuth dialed, and we're on our way. I don't think I've ever been more prepared to launch a satellite into space. Wait. Launch an antenna onto the roof. We've got a TCP connection from the server to the friggin' our Pi. So it's just like friggin' grabbing data from the Pi, just like friggin' chaining it in, dude, and it's just stuffing it in a little stuff sack, and then it's gonna do stuff to it later, and then we're gonna be able to look at them on a computer and shit. But we gotta go get this thing aimed to where it's supposed to go, and I just realized that I'm standing here without my instructions, so I don't know where the fuck it's going. Okay, now I've got a compass and my data. Time to go into the roof. God, this feels fucking dumb. It could not possibly be a good idea. Fuck it, you know? That feels solid. That's a much cleaner line of sight. This is gonna work so much better, I can't even believe it. Okay, let's go over the numbers again. Ah, no, wrong. Minus 10 degree L&B skew. Well, here's the great news, that just the way that it's sitting on the roof here, that's gonna be fine. Okay, so that's actually in the opposite direction that we want. But here's the beautiful thing about the L&B skew, is the signal coming from the GOES satellite is actually circular or conical or something like that. So like, we don't even need the L&B skew technically. It's sort of just like interstellar bonus points, you know what I mean? But I'm a big fan of bonus points, especially when they're from space, so. Now to get our compass going. Okay, and we want 166.3 degrees true. Wait, magnetic. We want 172.8 degrees magnetic. 172.8, which is that way? If you say so, machine. Okay, well now it's saying that that way is the... how do we friggin' calibrate the bitch?
Hey, dude. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm on the roof. Where are you?
I'm inside. It was hot as hell. I was just waiting.
Oh no. Offers in-app purchases. All right. So you said 172 is that way?
Yeah.
I bet. Okay, 172 is that way. So what the hell? Are you looking at the Pi right now? Okay, so our angle's just a little low. Check.
You're frozen.
Frozen? Any better now? Oh wait, I put a magnet on the fucking feed arm. That's what happened. What about now?
1300.
Okay. Broken 1,000, heard. Okay, so I think that's as good as we're gonna get for azimuth. Is it still hovering at that 1,000 mark?
Yes, it is.
Beautiful. This is kind of cool. There's a satellite like right that way. I feel like I can work with 800. Because honestly, that 800 might just be noise from this coax cable I'm running too. Like, I'd call 800 just about an uplink.
80 right now.
Ooh, 680, that's good, okay. Beautiful. I think honestly just locking it down and keeping it stable helps a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, I like 630, I can work with that. I don't know what that number means, but I guess it's good. I think we might've got it. We're sitting at a V average of around 600, 700, which is high, but I'm hoping that it'll be enough. Holy crap, I need a glass of water. But I can't yet, I have to see what this looks like. Here we go. Do we have a connection? Holy shit! It seems fitting that on the most important shot of this whole project, my audio cut out, so you get a bad voiceover. Ha 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 ha. Yay! Oh my god. We did it! We got pictures! And here's our first look. The way the GOES imager works is it scans lines across the Earth and then stitches them back together to get our final image. I had a bad connection due to a bad cable, so they're not great. But even still, it's a pretty damn good proof of concept. We did it. We captured an errant radio signal from more than 30,000 kilometers away. We captured it, we filtered the signal from the noise, amplified it, and defined its message as software. The final image is of us. Everybody on this side of the globe anyway. All doing the same thing. Fighting wind, waves, rain, heat. Just trying to get by. This is us. The imager on board the satellite takes pictures using an infrared camera, capturing everything at various levels of the IR spectrum, everywhere from visible and near infrared all the way up to high infrared light. The full color images that we see are a composite of these different channels stacked together with a few clever software guesses in between. That imager also includes two aimable lenses that can zoom in on various weather systems that are of interest.
On the first page of the data book published alongside the GOES project, the purpose for these satellites is defined as to protect life and property. I'm glad to know that these satellites are up there. There's something comforting that they're keeping an eye on us, sending us info about the world we live in, about the weather we face, giving us a heads up when there's trouble on the horizon. Thank you to everyone at NASA and the National Weather Service and NOAA and everyone involved in the GOES project and all of the lovely people on YouTube, Ben Jordan and US Radio Guy and everyone out there who is continuing to study these beautiful satellites that are out there keeping an eye on us. Thank you for sharing your passion with me. Thank you for indulging my chaos. This was probably science.